Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1118. Happy Monday. Welcome to a new week. Batteries are recharged, and we're ready to attack a new week. What's up? Good morning. Just talk about my day yesterday. And I was going through some of the stuff I bought from Mike on Saturday at the Madison Card Show. I was going through some of those boxes. I'll show off some of the fun stuff I found in there. Still have a couple boxes to dig through. What else is going on? That's about it. It was a nice as I talked, I slept in a bit yesterday morning. It was much needed. I whined about how busy I've been, and now I'm back and at 100%. So it was much needed. I just kind of thought about, I'm just going to go full bore today, back to shipping. And it's like, you know what? No, I'm ahead of my shipping schedule. We'll just do a few just to get some, so I don't have so many on Monday. So I did do some shipping after the show yesterday morning, and then it's like, you know what? I'm going to take the rest of the day at my own pace. And I had to run some errands. I don't do people say that anymore? And when I say people, I mean like the younger kids, like the younger generation. And like the younger generation, I'm talking like 20 plus year olds, not kids. I'm going to go run some errands. Do you hear like a 25-year-old say that? Is that still a term that's in use today? Like there's got to be some like, I'm going to go touch grass. Like what do the kids say today? I don't think they say I'm going to go run some errands. It sounds like something grandma said in the 1970s. Can you go get me some Metamucil and Preparation H? Run some errands for me. I don't think we say that anymore. I say it. So I ran some errands. I made a Walmart run. Actually, I made a Target and Walmart run. I had to pick up my blood pressure medication. See, I think if you're on blood pressure medication, you're saying I'm going to go run some errands. If you're on blood pressure meds, you're definitely saying I'm going to go run some errands, pick up my medication at the Hy-Vee. So I went to the Hy-Vee, picked up my medication, and Target's right next to it. I had to get some envelopes. And I'm like, well, shit, Target's right there. So, and I was kind of, actually, I forgot, like the hockey, somebody in the chat yesterday mentioned getting a Bedard. My buddy Mark pulled a great Bedard rookie. And I'm like, well, maybe if there's O-Pee-Chee, I'll pick up some hockey because of FOMO. So I went into Target. I went to their envelope section, and it was ravaged. The envelope section looked like some of y'all's card sections. You get to see, we see pictures of card sections at Target and Walmart, and it's like wiped out, a tornado went through. And then others, there's a mountain. And it depends on the narrative. It depends on whatever the narrative is. The person taking it, this is what my card section looks like, and there's no cards ever. And then the people, it's overpriced garbage. They're producing too much. Nobody wants it. So whatever your narrative, whatever fits your narrative. So I didn't even look at the Target card section. I was so disappointed that the envelope section was decimated that I'm like, screw it. I'm not looking at cards. So I left. So maybe a Connor Bedard hit was in one of those Target boxes. Actually, maybe there wasn't even any there. I don't know. So then I went to Walmart, and I thought about, at this point, I'm just going to go back to where I came back and go to the small mart since it's on the way back home. And I'm like, yeah, then I have to get off the belt line, take a left, and it's just a pain in the ass. So I'm like, I'm going to go right, and I'm just going to, it's a pain in the ass, but it's probably going to take me less time than to go to the Walmart that I ended up going to in Monona, the big Walmart. And their card section looked like the Target envelope section. They had envelopes, no cards. I just took a glance and it looked like it did 3 weeks ago. Nothing. So no cards. Didn't get any cards, but I did get my envelopes. I came home and from my errands, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna do some more shipping. And I came downstairs, and I might have shipped a couple things, and I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired. So I came out into the rec room and like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a couple hours and watch a movie. I haven't done that. Like, just put my phone down and actually watch a movie. That's when you know you're tired. At least for me, that's when I know I'm tired. When it's like I am willing to just put my phone down and watch TV. Doesn't happen much ever. Did yesterday. So I'm like, what do I want to watch? And I was listening to the Something to Wrestle With podcast with Bruce. Actually, I think it's Something to Wrestle is the name of the podcast with Bruce Pritchard. I think. Or maybe it's Something to Wrestle With Bruce Pritchard. I can't remember. But anyway, I've been listening to that podcast since about when they started. And Bruce Pritchard was talking about Buford Pusser. All right. Now this, I know I have got some viewers. I don't know if Cooter's in here or John or Uncle Rich, but they know the story of Buford Pusser. So if you don't know the story of Buford Pusser, and you probably don't, I know the story of Buford Pusser because my dad always talked about it. I don't know. He was like a hero, Buford Pusser. And so like in the 1970s, Buford Pusser was like, he was dead for most of the decade, but they made movies. There were like 3 movies. In fact, Walking Tall, which was the name of the original movie, Walking Tall with The Rock, was loosely based on Buford Pusser. There were like 3 books written about him. There was even a TV series in the, I think, 1981. Wasn't very successful, only ran like 7 episodes. So Buford Pusser, he fought the Dixie Mafia, the State Line Mob along the Mississippi-Tennessee border back in the 60s and very early 70s. So I don't think I've ever watched really either movie, the original or the one with The Rock. I started to watch it once, but I think I was in here and it's like, I'm going to put Walking Tall on, but it was starting to distract me. So I turned it off because I was watching more of the movie than. So that means if I'm getting distracted by them, usually it's the other way around. Like, oh, my phone, what's going on over here? I don't care about what's going on the TV. And so hit the couch. I search for it and it's on Pluto. So you can watch it on, if you're interested, you can watch Walking Tall, the original, on Pluto. So that's what I did. But damn if there aren't a lot of freaking commercials. Did Pluto run an ad on the Super Bowl? Maybe Pluto TV ran an ad on the Super Bowl, and that's why now there's just like it's all ads because it's a free app. Buford Pusser changed his own oil. He did. It's a great movie. It is a great movie, and I didn't pick up my phone. And I don't I remember my dad talking about it, and like it was, late 80s, early 90s. It was still, kind of like what it's. I guess it's relatable to how we look back at our 90s, right? If you're in your 40s, you look back at your 90s and like pop culture from the 90s, we still talk about it today. That was my dad in the 70s. He was still talking about it in the 90s. Buford Pusser changed his own oil. He was a man's man. He was also a professional wrestler before he became sheriff of McNairy County, Tennessee. He was Buford the Bull, a wrestler. Really good movie. I think it was released in like 1973. In fact, I think he was still alive when the movie came out. He died a young age. Like he was like 36. He was killed in a car accident. And there's also, so I started after the movie. Not the movie, but I lost my train of thought. He died at a young age. He was 36. I think the movie came out before he died. He died in a car accident. So I was doing I was just looking up like more of the story. And apparently there's a writer who has come out and is basically saying Buford Pusser wasn't like this American hero that he's been portrayed as for the last 50 years. Like, there's thoughts that he was actually on the take and he was involved in some of the moonshining. And it's believed that he was, I think when he was killed in the car, it was a one-car accident and he had a new Corvette. And he went into a ditch and died. And they believe alcohol was involved, but it's like, well, he fought against alcohol, so it's, but his wife was killed, and actually that's part of the movie. His wife was killed in 1967, I believe. And so that's towards the end of the movie. But Walking Tall, it's a great movie. Check it out. The story of Buford Pusser from the the movie was released in 1973, but set in the 1960s along the Mississippi-Tennessee border. That's how I recharged my batteries, watching an old movie. Now I'm getting ready for spring training. I'm excited. I've got my second order of Rookies app Cubs custom cards should be delivered here in the next couple days, so I can probably put in one final order now that spring training games are going and I have access to more photos. Be putting some more cards together, hopefully get another 100 put together to take out with me. And who knows, I maybe I'll make a fourth pack and just have it shipped to the hotel. I'm 2 for 2 in doing that. So let's go to the chat. David, what's going on? Good morning. My hobby batteries need recharging too. Absolutely. And I think that's I'm not going to say I was burned out. I was just, I guess maybe by definition, maybe I was burned out, but it wasn't my hobby that I was burned out from. Because in fact, I was looking at I was recharging my batteries and looking at cards at the same time. I wasn't tired from the cards or the hobby. I was tired from working. I'm a couch people. Running around all day and moving tables and tuckers me out. Let's go. What's up, Raphael? Listing and shipping and listing. Yes. George, what's happening? Harlan's in the house. Good morning. Good morning, Johnny Boy Cards. Joe Trotto is here. Christian, what's up? Shane, good morning. Kyle, good morning. My batteries got recharged watching the Atlanta race yesterday. There you go. Who won? I don't know if I was talking about this in here in Hobby Evolution or if it was at a card show, but I don't think I could name 5 current NASCAR drivers. I don't know if I could name one. Haley Deegan, does she race NASCAR? And this is only because of NASCAR cards from a few years ago. Jimmy Johnson, is he racing? Dale Earnhardt Jr., I think he doesn't race anymore. I don't even know who is the NASCAR, who's the best NASCAR driver today. I don't even know that. George just got finished up with developing 2 rolls of film. Otherwise, I would be in bed. Victor, what's up? Good morning. Steel Cards in the house. Good morning. Harlan says, kids today don't leave the basement. They come to card shows. We got a lot of kids at the card shows, which is good to see. It's not a bunch of old angry white men at card shows anymore, which is nice. It's a nice change. George, they probably say something like, I'm waiting on AI to do. Yeah, people our age don't even run errands anymore. Amazon does it for them. Like, oh, I need this. Oh, Amazon. They'll deliver this tomorrow. I ordered something recently. It was next day delivery on Amazon. Like, holy shit. I could get used to this. But some of my stuff is like, when I need it next day, it's like, oh, we're on back order. It'll be there in 3 weeks. Dan, what's going on? Never realized Chris Chelios was from Evergreen Park and went to Mount Carmel and the University of Wisconsin. Number 7 jersey retired yesterday by the Blackhawks. Yeah, Chelios Day, and wasn't Patrick Kane back for whatever team he plays for? So it was a big game for the Blackhawks. I just saw that because people were posting it on Facebook. I did know he was semi-local. And Theo Epstein was in the house. Theo is good friends with Chris Chelios. Philly, and so is Eddie Vedder, but I don't think Eddie Vedder was in the house. Philly Joe, good morning. George says, I did get coffee from a robot this afternoon. Sweet. Shane is asking, Dan, did you see the Patrick Kane honor video they did yesterday? Dan says hi to George, and Dan has not seen the video. Orlando, what's going on? Porter's in the house. Good morning. The ship to free shipping is paying off already. I'm a big fan of free shipping. Big fan. Not only is it easier for you as a seller, it's easier for buyers to know, well, there's no shipping. Every once in a while, I'll get messages like, can you combine shipping? It's like, it's all free. So yes, it's zero combined into zero. It also helps it does boost you in free shipping listings do get more visibility from eBay than those with shipping rates. George says, doing well to Dan, just spending 2 weeks recovering from the 14-hour time difference. That's a bear. Good morning, JK Cards. Is Shop Goodwill, card shows, or Facebook Marketplace your favorite for getting more inventory? All of the above. I don't have a favorite because sometimes Goodwill pallets are a dud. Sometimes card shows are a dud. And oftentimes Facebook Marketplace is a dud. But I've had great Goodwill pallets. I've had great card show purchases, and I've had great Facebook Marketplace purchases. All in all, they're equally good. But I don't have a favorite. Let's see. Dan and George talking. Brian says, good morning. Listening to the show summary. Why was it smoky in there, according to the guy who wrote the letter? Oh, that was Ryan. It wasn't smoky. So some dealers, and usually it's of the Pokemon variety, and most of them will admit it, they tend to smell like, if you're a Simpsons fan, Otto's jacket, if you know what I mean. So it smells a little funny in there. Not like cigarettes, but the funny cigarettes, the jackets smell. If you get my drift. They're pot smokers. Let's see. Dan renewed his visa today. Donald, good morning. Shane has sad news. I don't want to hear that. Today I was told that today was the last day for the free coffee on Mondays promotion from Casey's. Well, that's a bummer. I am sorry for the bad news. I'm sorry for your loss, Shane. Mark, good morning. So glad baseball is back. Spent yesterday watching my Mets and sorting my 1975 comments. Speaking of baseball, so I'm in a group chat, and somebody had commented in our group chat about baseball going to hell. Why? Because in a spring training game, a player basically laid down instead of attempting to break up a double play. And I thought about it. And I'm like, well, of course, it's spring training. Of course, it's the first week of spring training. Like, we're not even a full week in to spring training. You don't want to risk injury to break up a double play in a early spring training game. There's potentially millions of dollars on the line. That's a business decision. Baseball's not like it used to be. Now it was a game. It's not a game. It's big business. When you had to work a part-time job in the off season, you could risk injury in spring training because your off-season job might have paid more than your baseball job. That's not the case today. But I had a dream. Last night, I had a dream. I was watching a baseball spring training game. I'm legit serious about this. I had a dream last night about this. And Andres Galarraga, who came back from the depths of retirement, was playing in this spring training game. Andres Galarraga was going into third base. Slid into third base. I don't know. Was it a double? I don't know. He was attempting to do something at third. I don't know. I didn't have control of my dream. I know it doesn't make sense in reality, but in dreamland, it must have made sense. Andres Galarraga sliding into third, breaks up whatever he's trying to break up, and he gets hurt. And I immediately go to my group chat and say, hey, this is why you don't slide in spring training. Andres Galarraga is out for the whole season. He's going to lose. He's on a contract year. He's going to lose millions of dollars. That's why you don't slide in spring training. But then I thought about that. I woke up from that dream and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I need more rest. I'm watching too much baseball. I woke up and I thought, you know what? And I don't know who it was that laid down. Like, if it was Mike Trout laying down, that makes sense to lay down and not risk injury. But if it's a dude if it's a non-roster invite fighting for a spot on the roster, I hope to God that wasn't the case, because that would be like, you gotta show it. If you're a big leaguer on a huge contract and you're risking millions of dollars, don't get hurt. Don't slide into second base trying to break up a double play on the third game of spring training. So I don't know what the circumstances were and whatever in the incident. But I thought about that. The Cubs, we talked about Cody Bellinger yesterday. So Cody Bellinger, Matt Mervis, and you know my thoughts on Matt Mervis. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I think I want him on either another roster or in AAA. He can hit home runs in Des Moines. I'm not a Matt Mervis baseball fan. And neither are the Cubs, because the Cubs they're running a train at third or at first base. Like, they keep, we're going to put, initially it was, we're going to try Christopher Morel at first base. We're going to slot a warm body at first base ahead of Matt Mervis. And then they sign, Dom Smith, I think, is a first baseman. They signed him to a minor league deal. They signed, yesterday they signed Cody Bellinger, who plays first base and center field, but he will do a little bolt. And it's like, they're starting to rack up a lot of first, but like that depth chart, Matt Mervis is like, now, and Matt Mervis is on the 40-man roster. And the Cubs need to make a move to put Cody Bellinger, to add Cody Bellinger to the roster. So somebody's gone. Somebody on that Cubs 40-man roster is gone. And initially I'm looking through, it's like, well, Keegan Thompson, who's a relief pitcher. I'm looking at like relief pitchers and like, well, maybe Miles Mastroboni. And then I'm like, and then the Cubs sign to a minor league deal Garrett Cooper last night, first baseman. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Poor Matt Mervis. Get me out of here if I was him. They have zero faith in Matt Mervis. And I don't either. But I don't know shit, so it doesn't matter. But so my thought now is, okay, Matt Mervis is gone, whether they trade him for a bag of balls or just DFA him. I think Matt Mervis is the odd man out. They signed Garrett Cooper to a minor league deal just for a warm body in spring. We're going to get rid of a first baseman because Bellinger's probably going to be splitting time. So we'll need some reps at first base. We'll bring in Garrett Cooper, and hey, maybe maybe something happens. So Garrett Cooper was an all-star, by the way, in 2022 with the Marlins. The Marlins must have sucked in 2022 because I was looking at his numbers, and I know first half numbers could be completely his second half could have really sucked to bring his numbers down to reality. But I'm looking at his numbers, and I'm like, that was the thing where the Marlins needed representation, and it's like, well, Garrett Cooper has the best numbers, so he's our representative at the All-Star game. So Garrett Cooper now on the Cubs. George talking to Dan, sports card ripping teacher. What's going on? Errands these days are just taking the kids to various activities. Cody back. Pretty much a 1-year deal with the player options, but I'll take it. Absolutely. I'm happy with the deal. It's a prove it deal. And it's, it slightly favors the player in this instance because he's got opt-out options after year 1 and year 2. It's a 3-year deal. If he sucks, the Cubs are on the hook. But if he's great, Cubs get him for a year and he goes back into free agent. He'll opt out, go into free agency again. So, which I think is ideal for the Cubs as well, because, maybe Pete Crow Armstrong, put him in center field, and maybe Pete Crow Armstrong is the guy, and maybe you don't need a Cody Bellinger. I don't know. Juan Soto is a free agent next year. I mean, the Cubs need a superstar. They need a face of the franchise. The Cubs need a superstar. I guess Cody Bellinger is the guy. But they're gonna need another one. They're gonna need a superstar. Let's see. George knows the story of Buford Pusser. He would beat down the folks as sheriff. Old Buford the Bull. Christian says, I heard that's something to wrestle with and want to see that movie now as well. So Walking Tall is the Buford Pusser movie. The original Walking Tall. He definitely changed it. Yes, he did. It's a good movie. I remember watching it back in the 80s. I remember it being on like when Fox was like an independent or whatever they were before they were like the big network. Like in the late 80s, it was like they put on whatever programming they could get. And I think Walking Tall was one of those movies so it ran on like the Saturday afternoon matinee on Fox. James says card shows Saturday and Sunday. Lots of cool shit. Very cool. Where were you Sunday? Which show did you go to yesterday? The movie about the CIA agent game show host. Mikey's in the house. Good morning, beauty. Well, thank you. That's awful nice of you. Good morning, Charles. Gotcha. Good morning. Shane says, I don't think it matters what job you have or how much you love it. I believe everyone goes through small phases. Oh, absolutely. 100%. It doesn't matter where you're at, what you're doing. You're going to get tired. Daniel Suarez won. Who? Who? Like, is that? I was thinking, like, I'm like Daniel. Shit. There's a wrestler, Daniel something. The hell's his name? He's in AEW. Daniel Garcia. I think it's Daniel Garcia, former MMA fighter. Daniel Suarez. Did not even know. If you would have told me, if you would have said, what sport, if this was a Jeopardy clue, what sport, or actually it would have to be worded differently, but let's just say that it's a trivia question. What sport does Daniel Suarez play? And NASCAR might be 10th on the list. I'd be like, Daniel Suarez, he's an MMA fighter. Because I know wrestling, so I know he's not a wrestler. He's an MMA fighter. Nope, he's not an MMA fighter. Oh, he plays for Manchester. He's a soccer player. No, he's a NASCAR driver. There's a NASCAR doc on Netflix right now that is real good. It's not the Bubba Wallace one that sucked. Interesting. Deegan, no. Johnson retired, only races every once in a while. Dale Jr. retired. Well, I couldn't tell you a single NASCAR driver. Let me see. Let's just look at the results. What was Atlanta? Atlanta results. NASCAR Atlanta results. Daniel Suarez. Blaney. Wasn't there a Dale Blaney? R. Blaney. Oh, Bush. I've heard of Bush. Is it Kyle Busch? Cindric, never heard of. Wallace, never heard of. Stenhouse, never heard of. Chastain, never heard of. McDowell, Buescher, Gibbs, Burton. I remember Jeff Burton. Oh, Martin Truex Jr., I've heard of him. LaJoy, or is it LaJoie? Gralla, Elliott, Priest, Byron, Hemrick. Jay Nemechek, I know Joe Nemechek, but I think he wrestled. He raced in like the 90s. Is that AJ? Nope, he's a running back for the Packers. Dick Trickle, NASCAR legend. He's like a legend here in Wisconsin. Like, well, he's a NASCAR. He's somebody and I didn't know this, but I guess he's from this area. Kyle will know this. Where's Dick Trickle from? But I was at a table and this might have been the only time somebody asked about NASCAR at a card show. Dick Trickle. He's from Wisconsin. Hey, he's from the same town as Max, and he's dead? Oh, I didn't know Dick Trickle died like 10 years ago. He's from Wisconsin Rapids, home of Max. Somebody was asking about Dick Trickle. You got any Dick Trickle stuff? And the dealer's like, oh, no, it goes real fast up here. Well, really? George says you should know who the best is. It's Jerry. Jerry was a race car driver. He drove so goddamn fast, never did take a checker flag, but he never did come in last. John says, one of the long-term effects of COVID for my wife is she now loves sports docs and seeks them out for us to watch. That's interesting. That is interesting. T206 kid, what's up? Sometimes driving home from work, I think other drivers on the road think they are NASCAR drivers, says this old man at the age of 36. I am the guy on your bumper telling you to speed up. I am the NASCAR driver on the highway trying to get you in your Prius or Subaru to drive faster. I swear to God, every time there's a traffic backup on the highway, it's because there's a Prius or a Subaru holding up the line, driving slow. James, what's going on? Good morning. Card show was amazing on Saturday. Thank you. James was set up. Saw him in the mezzanine. James was also the dealer that I was standing with when I had the most interesting question I'd ever heard of, asking if I knew about Indian treaties. I didn't know where that conversation was going, but it was interesting. Good morning, Zach and Porter. Shane says, I was just talking about Dick Trickle yesterday. We were discussing funny sports names with Dick in their names. So that's what guys do. Guys sit around and wives and girlfriends, they have like, usually it's like, well, my wife, it's like house decorating discussions. And we sit around talking about Dick Pole, Dick Trickle, and Rusty Coons. What'd you guys talk about? Dick Pole. Talking about dicks. Why did it take so long for them to retire Chelios's number? That's a question for a hockey fan. Kyle says NASCAR drivers Bo may know. Denny Hamlin, that's a name I'm familiar with. Kyle Larson, have no idea. Chase Elliott sounds familiar. Is that Bill Elliott's kid? I know Bill Elliott. Kyle Busch. Yes, I know Kyle Busch. Martin Truex Jr. Netflix full speed doc was awesome. Cindy Crawford also did shoot the puck last. Cindy Crawford. Wow, that takes me back. Eddie Vet Project. Project is part of my name. Eddie Vedder was in the house and he teared up when being spoken about. Eddie Vedder was in the house. Oh, okay, cool. Because him and Chris Chelios are like best friends. They're like super tight. Unicorn Cupcake went to Chicken Licks in Sun Prairie on the advice of my fat coworker. They're known for their spicy wings. 0 to 10 on the scale. My friend ordered a 6 spice level. They asked if he had eaten there before. Interesting. See, I'm not a spice that doesn't interest me. Chicken. I was on Reddit last night looking up fried chicken places in Madison. And there's Zippy Lube, I think, is on the north side. Sal Dougie, I think, has been there. He's in the chat. And then there's the Draft House or something. And a lot of people suggested that one. Tiger727, what's up? Good morning. John says, we've been preaching free shipping forever around here. Absolutely. Do it. If you're not doing it, start. Free shipping on eBay. Sal Dougie, what's up? Good morning. Christian says the Hawks-Wings game was a lot of fun to watch, and not just because the Wings won, but that helped. And didn't Patrick Kane win the shoot the game winner or whatever you do in hockey? That's what I heard. Kaner. Unicorn Cupcake says he said no, and they said he should try a 2. He tried a 3 and cried and started sweating on the first wing. Holy shit. It's always tough. It's always fun to see your tough friends look like pussy. Oh man. Yeah. That sounds zero. That sounds zero. I have zero interest in spice, especially after hearing that, reading that. John says the only slight free shipping speed bump is the abundance of shitty lowball offers. The devil's lettuce. Yeah. Jeremy says, I love buying low-end stuff from shops because they get so much they want to turn and burn from it. That's I haven't tried, like, there's not really any shops around here. I think it's all about like developing that relationship. Just like at a card show, like I buy from usually the same dealers. Kind of like card shops. Okay, give me your junk. The wacky tobacco, the left-handed cigarettes, the devil's lettuce. AA cards. What's up? Good morning. John says, I picture Shane lugging Gatorade-sized cooler to Casey's on Mondays. Dan has some advice for Shane. You should get rid of the spacing between the E and Z and P and Z in your log. Rid of the space between the E and Z and P and Z. Oh, in the logo. Shane says he would take a giant cooler for coffee. Cooter getting called out. Anthony Rendon has most likely broken up 0 double plays in his career as an MLB part-timer. They don't want to get hurt this early. Absolutely. John says there are no 1975 commons. I have a lot to say lately. Was Harry Carey the announcer, and did Steve Stone need to pronounce his name? Was Harry Carey the announcer and Steve Stone? I can't remember. I don't know what that's in reference to. Good morning, Flawed Thinker. Shane is responding to Dan's logo advice. Trying to make it more centered. There you go. Did you spend $80 on a break? John. I like Twitter people who think paying the 3-ounce rate for every card isn't a waste of money since they charge the buyer for shipping. I just, and there's a lot of people that do this. Stop. You're wasting money. Like, there's scales and weights and measurements for a reason. Just because you overpay for shipping doesn't mean it's going to get there faster or better. It's just you spending unnecessary money to fund the post office, which, thank you, keep it afloat. But you're wasting money. Thank you, Andy, for bringing this up. I see it all the time. Well, I pay for 3 ounces because it gets there. Have you tried shipping 1 ounce and see if you get the same results and not spending the extra 50 cents? Like that freaking adds up. If you did that, like, do that on 1,000, like you've got to think in terms of volume. Like 1,000 times you're spending 50 cents extra. That's $500 that you're just pissing away. So stop overspending. On 1,000 shipments, if you are spending $1.14 or $1.12, whatever it is now, on 3 ounces instead of 64 cents, and over 1,000, that's $500. You can go buy a kitchen scale for $20 and weigh your envelopes. And if they're under 1 ounce, pay for 1 ounce postage. If it's 1.2 ounces, pay for 2 ounces in postage. If it's 2.2 ounces, pay for 3 ounces of postage. If it's 3.1 ounces, ship it in a bubble mailer. Stop overpaying for shipping. Or don't. Because it does help the USPS, and they're in the red. So let's just, if you choose to keep overpaying, I'm all for it. Maybe it'll help keep them alive. Unicorn Cupcake. If all copies are printed equally, how could there be commons? John says the NFL game will soon be a series of players. That's very. I like the thought behind that, because no card is more common than the other. Why do we use the term commons for the low end cards? Oh, it's just a common. It's not any more or less common than the next card. Thank you, Unicorn Cupcake. A little making us think deep today. The NFL game will soon be a series of players sliding and giving themselves up prior to contact. Happens on most kicks, happens on all scrambles. It's already to that point. But here's the thing. That's not by choice. That's by rule. The NFL has put in these rules. So if you hit a quarterback in the open field, you're open for 15-yard penalty. So it's just kind of like by rule, you're kind of forced on. The quarterback's giving themselves up. I would too. A lot of those, and some of those contracts aren't guaranteed money. You end your career and you're fucked. Cooter says the runner wasn't halfway to second base. At least make the shortstop make a competitive throw. I want to see the play and know who the player was that did it before I can actually truly argue. Because in some I'd be like, oh, that's I agree with you. But in other circumstances, I'm like, no, I'm with the runner. The $80 break guy needs to have his tubes tied, George. Oh yeah, that was on. And this guy, I'm not even going to give his name or show the tweet, because that's what he wants. And I'm sure he's just trolling because he's trying to get clicks and YouTube views. I think he just tweeted that out to cause a scene on Twitter and get more impressions. So I'm not even going to address it. I'm not going to give him what he wants for all 75 of my viewers. Cubs have a lot of first basemen and middle infielders. They do. And the roster is going to look a lot different once the end of March rolls around. Cooter and I are on the talent level where the only thing we bring to the game is hard slides. George laughs. Victor, wow, and I bought a couple of Mervis cards yesterday. Brian, good morning. Cooter says we are just a few seasons from ghost runners at this rate. Didn't they try that for like extra innings a couple of years ago? Wasn't that like an experiment? And that's where I draw. I draw the line at ghost runners. Laying down for a slide in spring training, I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with ghost runners. George says, John, the only thing I run for is the bathroom when I bet on a fart. Yeah, the older you get, it's playing Russian roulette with your asshole. John says, ghost runners were great. We spent more time arguing than playing, which sharpened our real world skills. There you go. Ever see Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story? I don't think I have seen that movie. I'm only 15 minutes behind in the chat. It's AI runners. Cooter, don't you remember when people were playing with blockchain ponies and getting their bets in? That's the future of MLB. Probably why uniforms are now invisible. Zach says this new game isn't just the youngsters. La Russa told players not to bust it out of the box if they were most likely grounding out, avoid injury. Daniel Garcia was who I was thinking of. Soccer. Mark says, I've seen enough of Dom Smith. He'll be on your minor league, major league shuttle. I don't even think he makes it on the shuttle. Maybe he does stick around and he'll be in AAA, but if Dom Smith is playing at Wrigley Field, I have concerns if Dom Smith is in a lineup for the Chicago Cubs. I'll be okay if he's on a lineup for the Iowa Cubs, but Chicago, I'll be concerned. Mike Summer coming hard with the NASCAR facts. Mark says, John, I have 23 Marty Perez, the definition of a comet. Dick Trickle, Wisconsin Rapids. 1975 Marty Perez, better than any 2024 Topps card. Dick Trickle and Dave Marcus were buddies, Wisconsin racing royalty. If someone gave me the choice of getting kicked in between the legs, so in the nads or watch a NASCAR race, I would tell them to hurry up and let's get this kick over with. I don't know. I'd probably suck it up and watch a NASCAR race. I don't want to get kicked in the nuts. Was Perez a Brave? Going from memory. Yeah, Marty Perez was a Brave at least at one point because I remember his maybe 78 Topps card. He was with the Braves. George says, I knew I could get Bo to sing. LOL. Yep. Rick Lecoq. Pete Lecoq. New Jersey highways are NASCAR tracks. Must have been autocorrect. Brian says chicken licks is nuts. I can do a 2 to 3. My brother-in-law did a 10. They also asked if he had eaten there before. Do they make you sign a waiver if you like at the 10 level? George says, I ate a 3 out of 4 scale of Maritang last night. Had the Ring of Fire today, but it was worth it. Oh, there's nothing worth. Oh, man. Don't you lose money with bubble mailers, free shipping on 99-cent cards? I don't send 99-cent cards in bubble mailers. I, in fact, lose money on sending 99-cent cards in a plain white envelope. So I certainly will not be sending 99-cent cards in a bubble mailer. John says, I imagine being Eddie Vedder is a parade of dark days and death by paper cuts, learning that Eddie Vedder has about 3,000 best friends, and you were just one of them. Let's see. Running Buck Woodcraft. Good morning. Finally bought a thermal printer. Just wish you people would have recommended one sooner. Let me tell you this again. If you're selling on eBay, and like if you're only selling like a card a day, you don't need a thermal label printer. But if you're selling like, I don't know, even a dozen a week, invest in a thermal label printer. It will make your life so much easier. Let's see. Shane says the old Ring of Fire, never enjoyable. It's refreshing after the burn goes away. Makes you feel like you've just changed your own oil. Running Buck Woodcraft, now enlightened, there are very few things we should all do. Thermal printers and free shipping are at the very top of the list. Amen. John pays 3 ounces when it's 3 or more cards. Don't want someone having a bad day at the sorting table biting me in the ass. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth the money. Because that's going to happen. Here's why. And here's why I say that. You can send one card in a card saver and it's like 0.2 ounces and it'll get dinged. I've had one card in one card saver returned to me for postage due. So if you can get someone on a bad day at the sorting table, no matter what you pay, so you might as well just pay the proper shipping and not overpay, because you're going to run in, that person is going to be a dick no matter what. Let's see. John says they are from 1973, back where not all cards were printed in the same numbers. Mikey says, can you offer free shipping on multiple item orders? Probably. You have to go into your, this is what makes it a pain in the ass. So this is why you just put free shipping on everything. So you can, but this defeats the purpose. So, either go with all in or all out. Either charge for shipping or don't. Now, if you obviously want to do combined shipping, then you have to go in and combine shipping through kind of like your sales and promotions. But if I just recommend doing free shipping on everything. And just price it into your price. Price the shipping into your overall price. 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey is a common, since they apparently were printing sheets of just those. Common is nice than saying crappy player. John says, Mikey, you can combine shipping when purchasing labels. Free shipping makes it all so much easier. Agree, 100%. Bill Simus was at the Bridgeview show yesterday. Great turnout. Ron Rivera was signing there. I think that's where Victor was at. I wonder if that's where James was at. There you go. Andy Mack. Just offer free shipping on everything. Just do it. Let's see. Mikey says, I'm just concerned I will lose money if I offered free shipping on my $1.25 orders. Then you got to raise the price. Because here's the thing. If you charge 75 cents shipping on a $1.25 card, the buyer is paying $2. Just raise your price to $2 and offer free shipping. and do best offer, because maybe your buyer wants to buy 3 cards and you can give them a deal and charge them, they can pay $1.25 if they buy 3 cards and they're getting free shipping and you're not losing any money. So just price it into the items. Shane, I pack a nice piece of cardboard in my PWEs, which is why I do what I do. And I don't do card. I highly recommend not putting a piece of cardboard in white envelopes. JW, good morning. I think I've touched on it. Yeah, the new uniforms look awful. They look terrible. Let's see. Shane uses damaged commons as protectors. That way I don't have to mess with cutting cardboard. And some people will bitch about that. This guy sent me beat up commons. Well, put them in the trash, you dumbass. Where do you, and it drives me nuts when people complain about getting free cards in the mail. Like, they're commons. Well, it's just he's sending me trash. Well, what's the envelope that it's sent in? Like, are you keeping the envelope? Probably not. What are you doing with the envelope? You're throwing it away. Put the damn commons you don't want, put them in the envelope and put them in your goddamn trash can. How hard is that? People just want to bitch. MLB unis looked like trash until the 70s. The sport might survive this current crisis. Mike bought about 35,000 NASCAR cards last week, so I've been busy sorting and listing and sorting, trying for biggest NASCAR inventory on sport lots. I do not envy that. Brian says all of these classic names being thrown around and no one mentioned Buzz Nutter. There's a lot of classic names. Buzz Nutter, one of them. Do you ship non-machinable? I do not. I don't sell a ton on eBay and probably do spend too much on shipping. No, I do not do non-machinable. John says New Jersey roads are straight ridic. Gas is cheap in Jersey and they pump it for you because you go 3 extra miles to make a left turn and you were exhausted. Dez, what's going on? I have a hobby dilemma. I collect World Series tickets. If the MVP of the series turns out to be a criminal in retired life, would you get the ticket autographed? Well, if that's what I collected, yes. If I collected autographed World Series tickets signed by the MVP, I don't care if he's a criminal. If I had access to him, I mean that would be. I think that's on you. Like that's what are your beliefs in that? I don't think any of us can tell you how to feel. Like, we can't make that decision for you. I think if I was in that situation, if I collected autographed World Series tickets signed by the MVP, I would want that in my collection. Orlando says yes. Unicorn Cupcake, cousin was in UFC. He did not win against some great future champs, Ryan Bader and Michael Bisping. Also lost to Stephen Bonner. With all that, still proud, but sucks to watch your cousin lose. Oh yeah. Orlando says he's got OJ's auto. Des says, you really meant it. Well, yeah, why not? Watching Bo try to catch up on comments is like watching a substitute teacher trying to regain control of the classroom. We probably had 3 different topics in the chat as I play catch up. Unicorn Cupcake wants to know pre-murder or post. Dan, good morning. Have a great week. Orlando got it post-trial. Flawed Thinker says, sell all your Yanquiel Fernandez. He's on the Rockies, right? I wonder what I have. Do I have a Rockies in here? Let's see. I wonder if there's any good. Let's just take it. This is what I got from Mike Cho the other day. I did set a stack aside. Oh, Nolan Arenado at 50. See if there's any Yanquiel Fernandez. I know I've got a bunch somewhere, but I don't think I have any like autos or nothing high end. I don't have high end anything really, unless it's Cubs. What year was Yanquiel Fernandez? There's a Drew Romo, Zach Veen color. Hunter Goodman color first. Doesn't look like there's any in there. Sell your Yanquiel Fernandez. Orlando says OJ moved to Miami after the murder trial. Met him here, got his autograph, and pissed off many friends. John says, I have about 100 NASCAR cards, and I'm already at wit's end. OJ inscribed, peace to you. I didn't ask him to. Shane says, I've never had anyone complain yet. I've actually had lots of people thank me for sending them free cards, and they're not super damaged, soft corners, maybe a print line. John says, don't ask someone else what you should collect. Kind of creepy to think the hand that signed your autograph may have done horrible things with a knife. I would still get his autograph, just not in an alley or a stairwell. I wouldn't be concerned about OJ. I'm not his type of murder. That means you're not a collector. You've just someone doing what someone told you to do. Just tell everyone that you had it signed before he was criminal. What's in the paper bag? This is all great feedback. Save the date for Yanquiel Fernandez, big day in Cooperstown. That is a cool inscription. So I bought, I think it was 2 5-rows, 2 4-rows, and a 3-row maybe from Mike. A little parking lot deal at the Madison Card Show on Saturday, which, by the way, I'll be listing some of these in my eBay store this week, scrolling now at the bottom of your screen. Link also in the description. Save 25% on 7 or more in my eBay store. Everything's free shipping in my eBay store. Oh, behind me in the goddamn bag. Oh. Did I don't, maybe I didn't show these off. So this is more stuff that I picked up at the Madison Card Show. So I planned on showing off some cards anyway. So I was going through some dollar boxes, and let's see. Now, Paul, Baseball Card Haven on Twitter, he sells BCW supplies. He had a dime box, so I pulled out some Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette out of his dime box. I can sell these for 20 cents to my guy, so I think I made 80 cents by going through those and pulling those cards out. Let's see. Where did I get these? I pulled, these were in one of my dealers had bargain boxes. They weren't marked. And I said, what's the price on these cards? And he's like, oh, they're diamond quarter cards. And he's like, the veterans, more like a dime. And then like rookies and prospects are going to be a quarter. And are these the ones? And I'm like, oh, cool. So I'm going through. And there were a couple autographs, which I don't know where those went. Might still be in here. I'm trying to find, because I don't think that one. I think these are kind of all messed up in order of how I got. All right. Oh, I hate when you like grab a pile of cards and they slip all over. Okay, so I don't know where the autographs went. Did I look through this pile? I don't even know where those came from. Anyway, okay. So anyway, some of the cards that I pulled, I don't think those were in. I think it was just these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, yeah, because I think there were 10 cards total. There was a Fernando Tatis, like, relic rookie, Kevin Maitan, Bowman Chrome, like, I mean, it's probably a dollar card. And then there was a couple Ellie De La Cruz first Bowman papers, 2 Jackson Churio first Bowman papers, Hunter Brown Leaf Draft Auto, Justin Foscue Prism Draft Auto to 99, and a couple of James Wood first Bowman papers. So, you know, before I start digging, I said, what's the price? 10 cents, 25 cents on like the prospects and rookies. So I pulled those 10 cards out of the box. I hand them to the dealer, and he's like, how about $20? And I'm like, $20? I thought this was the diamond quarter box. He's like, well, I could do 15. I'm like, that's still over $1. Come on. So I paid $15 and didn't go back. I would, because it was in the morning, and I would have went back and I would have spent a lot more money with them if they would have honored the price they gave me. And I should have just taken the box and said, I'll give you $15, but here's the box. Go through it and make sure there's not cards that you're going to upcharge in. If you say it's a quarter, make sure it's a quarter. Put these in a box or just say there's not a price on these cards. You just got to ask me. So that was annoying, but I had payment via trade. My guy Eric gave me this card, Wander Franco Topps Pro Debut Chrome. He gives it to me, and I'm like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "I don't want this," and he's like, "It's free, take it." And I'm like, "Okay." Coming to my eBay store soon. Let's see those. So John, Cigar Box John, he's like, I've got some vintage Cubs. He's like, you want to do a trade for my table? I'm like, yeah, okay. What do you got? So he traded me a bunch of old Cubs, 70 Topps Johnny Callison, 56 Bob Speak, 56 Jim Davis. What's this? 53 Johnny Klipstein, Turk Lone, 53 Bob Rush, Warren Hacker, Eddie Mixis. So some nice 50s cards, and then some 60s cards. Adolfo Phillips, Kurt Simmons, Jim Stewart. 57 Elmer Singleton. Charlie Silvera, some more 57s. Tom Paholski. Jim Brosnan. Mo Drabowski. DeFondi. Moose Morin. Hank Sauer, and Elvin Tappy. Quincy guy. Where's Brian at? El Tappy, a Quincy, Illinois guy. And then he goes, I'll trade you those. And he knows I like the Simpsons, so he threw in these promo cards, kind of a cast of secondary characters, and Barney. And then I think this is the complete set with stickers of the Simpsons. So I'm like, okay. So I did that for his table. He's like, I know you'll like those. And it's like the Simpsons, I'm probably going to I'm going to keep the Cubs, and at first I'm like, I'll feel bad if I sell the Simpsons cards because he knows that I like the Simpsons. But at the same time, it's like, well, it was a business transaction. It wasn't like he didn't give me these cards. He traded these cards for his table fee. So I'm going to do what I want with them. So obviously I'll keep the Cubs, and the Simpsons will be available in my eBay store. All right, let's go back to play catch up. Those were some of the things in the brown bag. Where are we at? Mikey says, I'll do free shipping right now on cards $20 and under. John says, raise the price of your lowest cards to $1.52 at minimum. Mikey will do that. Brian is going to try and run a stack sale on Twitter next week. Seems to be some interest. Maybe you can come over and help. No, I'm sorry. I'm not a good friend like you are. I am taking the next 2 weeks, and if you want to meet up for a beer some night in the next 2 weeks, I'll do that. But no sales for me outside of my normal eBay. Just getting ready for spring training. Let's see. John says you net a quarter-ish. But hey, by the way, I will help you, but just not next week. I don't want to sound like a complete asshole. Like, yeah, come over and help me do my sale. I'm not going to reciprocate that. I will reciprocate. I will help you with the sale, but just not in the next 4 to 5 weeks. You net a quarter-ish, but your margins go up with multiple sales. That's why we do it. John's new floor, $1.62. If you sell 3 to the same buyer, then the savings goes to you when you combine shipping. Big savings. Yep, that's why we do it. Johnny M, good morning. Running a bit late, just finished mailings. Super busy weekend of sales. Let's see. John says 1 envelope, 1 postage, etc. Works the same with more expensive cards as well. You need to make a decision when you get 5 to 6 plus cards, whether you switch to bubble mailer. I ship up to 12 in a white envelope. Obviously, it's based on weight. You can get 12 cards if you use card savers. It still stays under that 1/4 inch thickness, which is kind of the big concern, is the thickness. You're going to get asshole post office workers. It can be one. It can be. I wonder if I have one. Let me run the other one. No, it was. I thought this might have been a postage, but this was a no such number. So, but yeah, you'll run into assholes that one card. It's like 0.2 ounces, and obviously you can bend it. It's flexible, and they still snap the non-machinable rate on it. I'm no longer taking offers on new listings of $2 and under. Also, stopped promoting. About 50% of new listings and sales have skyrocketed for some reason. That's interesting insight. I still do offers because I get so many customers. I'm also doing this full time. So that's a huge difference. If you're just doing it part-time, I can understand why it annoys you to get these lowball offers on low-end cards. But for me, it's well worth it because I'll get people that send in 20 different offers. Even if it's 3 or 4 offers, I'll take $1 per card, depending on what it is, on 3 or 4 cards. Because it's still, it's a net positive. And sometimes it's commons, sometimes it's 83 Fleer commons. Like, yeah. So, but I'm also doing this full time. So, our situation, everybody's situation is going to be a little bit different. So I can't speak to everybody by saying, oh, offer this, that, and the other when it may not suit your needs. Let's see. Dan says, how do you pronounce this candy bar? A whatchamacallit? How else would it be pronounced? Whatchamacallit? A whatchamacallit. Some great vintage in there. Thank you. Unicorn cupcakes. So I bought another set of those Encyclopedia of Baseball cards. Some are in rougher shape. However, one issue is autographed on the inside by Jim Beckett. Let me know if you're still interested. Yes, I am. And it doesn't have to, as long as the cover is intact, if it's in rough shape, it adds character. Like I don't need a mint condition issue. I just like the information inside. So, in this case, a beater is better. Flawed Thinker says that's ridiculous. He set his price before you got the cards. I wouldn't have bought them out of spite. I was very annoyed by it. And I won't buy they can continue setting up at my show, but I'm not going to buy from them. If it's one of those cases where I pulled out an autograph, how'd that get in there? And I looked through these, but well, you better do you just want the box? Look through them again. So I won't look through the boxes anymore. Let's see. Zach says, I'm playing catch up similar to Bo, and Porter loves when they add an extra. Normally flagship commons that Porter can use. People are the worst. Yes. I can't believe people just like complaining about something. Johnny M says, I run a buy 5+ and get 30% off. Bunch of multiple orders over the weekend. Flawed Thinker says that dealer should have been a grown-up, realized his mistake, and said, well, a deal's a deal, lesson learned. Yes. And often, well, maybe not often, but many times that's not the case. John says, you lost me there. I try not to complicate things. I sell just enough that I don't need complicated multiplication. Stack sales look like they take some effort in chasing. Stack sales are, in my opinion, the worst. And I thought, like back in the fall, like heading into winter, I'm like, I'm going to do like a stack sale, kind of like I do my YouTube live bulk sales. I thought about doing that for like dollar cards. No way in hell am I doing a stack sale. And Brian actually, because Brian I know runs some Twitter stack sales. At least on Twitter, there's an easier record, so it's easier to go back and look. YouTube, it would be more difficult to go back and make sure everything's right. But it's like, in my ship, like it was much faster for me because I had less boxes last week than I did, a few weeks ago. And now, and it's all about like repetition and finding your efficiencies. Like I was faster just because I knew how to go about things. Like the first time it's like, how do I do this? So it was a little more time consuming. And my third sale, when I do another one, probably in April, it'll be even more efficient. Brian says, I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. I know you hate stack sales. I think tax refund money is coming in for buyers and they are spending. Bo getting exercise. I need it. John says, digging my way of asshole postal workers blizzard as we speak. Lots of up and downs on the show today. Working the core. Yeah, I do need to work the core. Hey, so I ran in and I grabbed the envelope, but I also had this. So this is the card that I ordered. I ordered this card on February 6th. The seller created the shipping label on February 10th, which I'm okay with that. But then didn't ship it out until like February 20th. No, that would be, February 20th, I think, last Tuesday. And it arrived in my mailbox on Saturday. And it's, we can go shopping. It's wrapped in some, I don't even know what grocery store this is. What grocery store is this? Red Plum, is that a grocery store? I don't know. Can't even see what store it is. Here we go. He sent me an extra card saver, so I will put that to good use. But what I bought, check this out. I've wanted a Dirt Relic card. Now I got one. Not only did I get a Dirt Relic card, I got an older one from 2000, and it's Sammy Sosa. Look at that. There's actual dirt in the card. My first Dirt Relic. Sammy Sosa, authentic game-used batter's box dirt. Let's see. Doesn't say anything about the dirt on the back. There is like a hologram, though. So, authentic game-used batter's box dirt. Hey, maybe I could put that... I could display it next to my game-used field dirt from Alec Mills's Cubs no-hitter in 2020. All right. Where are we at? So, Sammy Sosa. Let's see. Porter wants to know what Brian's Twitter handle is. Unicorn Cupcake says, end of show dude had 1962 Topps full set and a lot of other vintage football. His mom had thrown away a bunch of his stuff, but kept those in a chest. I think he got 2K. Wow. People can delete their tweets. YouTube is a live record. Either way, you can have 30 buyers, and if one or two are deadbeats, then it's a pain in the balls. That's true. Thanks, Mom. Red Light says it's F-bomb time. We got 69 viewers in here. John says, you don't know when they actually shipped it. I generated labels. Oh, no. He told me when he shipped it. He sent me a message and said, hey, sorry for the delay. I shipped this out today. So he created the label on February 10th. On February 20th, he sent me a message saying, hey, sorry for the delay. I'm shipping this out today. Sammy looks different. Did he get a haircut? I actually had one of those exact Sosa card years back, but traded it. I got this at a steal. I think I paid like $12 for this. I mean, I would have paid $30. Not now. I think it might have been listed for like $25 or $30, and I sent like a $12 offer, and they accepted. Official dirt from outside of the card manufacturer's factory smoking section. Hey, that could be. There's his Twitter handle, Offbeat All-Stars. So that's what I had for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store. I'll be putting probably some of these Simpson cards in this week. We got a Justin Foscue autograph in the bulk that I bought. Roger Clemens rookie was in there, so not just all new stuff. Rafael Devers, these were in the box I got from Mike. David Ortiz relic gold out of 50. Riley Green orange out of 25. Green neon green rookie out of I think $3.99. Zach Birdie auto out of $1.99. So some fun stuff. So I'll be getting those listed into my eBay store. So have a great Monday. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. See you then.